Hello and welcome back to another episode of FTB Sky Factory 2.5. My name is Twin Minds, and today I'm going to solve a little problem. Not that problem. That's a different problem altogether. I did sort of figure out this issue, but not entirely. It turns out that with the conveyor belts moving mobs around, it was somehow pushing them through the blocks. And then they were falling, and some of them were surviving long enough to attack, which is why we had that skeleton appear before. I did work my way up there, and I filled in some of the gaps, which definitely did help, but did not solve the problem perfectly. I don't quite know the answer to that yet, so I will have to figure that one out later. For right now, it's just not running. That light is on. However, I don't know why it's on. I followed the lines. I've retraced all of my paths of wires and all that stuff. I can't figure out why that light is on. And the reason for that is I've run out of power here. I have completely run out of power. And all of these have stopped running. I've stopped feeding them because I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. But ultimately, these dynamos have a little bit of power left in them. That one is 793. You can see in the tooltip at the top there, 793 here, and this one is 15,094. Now these numbers have not changed in quite a while. I've been monitoring it, and I just can't figure it out. So those are feeding into the back of this cell, which is empty, and then out through this line, which goes that direction. Now, after I traced all my wires, I figured out this is the only place that could be powering that light. And that light is supposed to take 2 RF per tick when it's running. But there's no power coming out of here. And there's no power coming through this line over here because that blue connection that you see right there is input only. So as far as I can tell, energy should only be coming from there to there. And then I have a separate line, which you see up there, which goes this direction. And this is not connected to this. So, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth, but this light is still saving me from certain doom. And the reason I say certain doom is I had a little bit of a creeper mishap. One of them walked his way all the way down the stairs and around here and snuck up on me while I was working on stuff over here and blew up half of my wall. So I had to fix that. That was unpleasant, which is why I turned on that light, because I did not want that happening again until I could figure out the problem. So, yeah, we'll leave that like that for a while. So that is sort of the problem that I want to solve today. I want to solve the problem of energy. Because the reason this ran out, and I still don't quite know the logic behind it, all of these dynamos were running constantly and feeding energy across that line into this one here, which was then feeding all of my sifting setup. Now, these solars were full constantly, despite these things being directly next to this energy cell and connected as close as possible. All of the energy was going through this connector from the dynamos over there instead. So it was favoring draining those instead of the solar panels, which was then causing all of my creosote to drain and all that stuff, while these solars were just not doing anything. So I let the dynamos run dry and I let the solars take over. As of right now, they are powering my AE system, but that's about all they can handle. I did the math and these are running at about 120 RF per tick, and it's just barely keeping up with my AE system, so that's going to have to change. If I ran any of these machines, I started losing power. Not a huge deal, I had a little bit of a buffer to work with, but it couldn't run for long periods of time. So before I solve that problem, I want to cause more problems, because why not? I need to gather some resources, and I think I can manage all that here. I know that I need Invar, which I do not think I have. I need tin, I need copper. I believe I need bronze, but I don't recall for sure. What I'm making here is some more thermal expansion machines. I would like to get an induction smelter. Now this creates alloys, much like the alloy smelter that I have set up already. However, there are some things that can only be made in this induction smelter that I would like to have access to, so I want to make one. Lots of Invar, gold, redstone, tin, iron, okay. Magma Crucible requires more nether bricks, so I'm going to have to take some time off camera here and grab some more nether bricks and get those cooked up. More Invar, leadstone, etc. Oh, that's good, I have plenty of that. Copper, glass. Alright, so I do have most of what I need, so let me grab some of that netherrack and I will return. Alright, I think I have all I need here, so let's get cooking. I did set up my workshop table over here, because I've been doing a lot of my work over here instead of all the way over there. So I decided I needed that close. Now let's start by making that induction smelter. Now I will need 3 of these machine frames. I did not explain what I was going to make other than the induction smelter, but you might have saw me looking at it there. So I need 3 of those. I may even make a sawmill too, because I have a use for that. Oops, I did not grab my glass, so let's make this stuff over here instead. The other ones I'm going to make are the Magma Crucible and Fluid Transposer. I don't have a pressing need for them at the moment, but I would like to have them. Because every once in a while I look at something that I want to make and it says, oh hey, you need one of those things. So I might want to have one available just in case I get ambitious. Now I also need Invar gears. And I believe it was 4 of them because 2 of the machines needed Invar gears. And then I need 3 of these. And I have buckets in the system, so I've got an induction smelter. And then Magma Crucible is the one that I need the nether bricks for. Which should be cooking up right about now, I believe. Yes, all done there. So then I can put those together. And then Magma Crucible, I need leadstone, which means I need lead for leadstone. Let's do that. Alright, and then I think I have everything. Yes, Magma Crucible there. And then the Fluid Transposer is much easier. I do need those copper gears though. There we go. So, lordy, my system or my inventory is a little bit full here. So, the Magma Crucible and Fluid Transposer go together. They don't necessarily have to go together, but they traditionally do go together, like so. And then you would set the Fluid Transposer to output on one of these sides, and then the Magma Crucible takes input on that same side. So that whatever comes in, or sorry, other way around, haha, Magma Crucible is what melts things down, and then Fluid Transposer picks it up. So that's right, this needs to go back to orange, so Magma Crucible pushes out the liquid into this side here, and then the Fluid Transposer fills whatever container you've got in there. So I could put that bucket in there and then melt down some redstone in the Magma Crucible and get a bucket of liquid redstone. Well, that's how those work. I'll be making use of those some point later, but I don't need them at the moment. And this one can go right over here, right next to the other alloy making machine. Now the main reason that I wanted these, at least the first reason I guess, is the solar panels. I've been using the Mark IIs here, which don't really have any remarkable requirements other than a bunch of wood and glass. But the next level up requires these photovoltaic cells, which require smelting up those mirrors with lapis in an induction smelter only. There's no other recipe for that. So I will need these very soon here, because I would like to increase my solar capacity. That will help solve one of those energy issues. That's the only one I know of offhand, but there's plenty of recipes. There's 141 pages of recipes in here, so I can definitely make use of this thing at some point. I just don't know which ones I need for sure. So that will come later. Now, the other thing, and you can see it kind of off to the side here, I added a level below, because I needed more space to put stuff. And I think my upper level is going to be as decorative as I can make it. So I'm leaving the lower floor for things like energy production and a bunch of chaotic wiring that you can see here. So this setup may end up moving downstairs at some point. And to do that, and to get up and down, I need, using the last of my gray wool, because why not, I need an elevator. Elevator from open blocks. It's a nice little tool. And what it does is it's a single white block, which I'm going to put right in place of my dirt there. It's a single white block that you would stand on, and you either shift or jump to move between the two elevator blocks, which means I need to put the other one directly below that. I can see my expanse here. I kind of built directly under my base as far as I could, so I can have access to all the undersides of things. So you can see that this is right here, which ideally should be right where I'm standing. And you plop that down, and then hit jump. And then you go right between the two, and it's a very quick way to get up and down instead of having to use that ladder, because that ladder was bothering me. That was a quick start. Now the next thing that I want to make will sort of help in the energy problem, in that it will help me store more energy. And I'm talking about a capacitor from Ender.io. These capacitor banks are really nice. They're multi-block structures. When you place one down, you can store up to that 1 million RF that it lists there, or 25 million for this one. If you put a second one down, they talk to each other and connect, and overall, the capacity is multiplied by how many blocks you've got down. So two of these next to each other would be 2 million RF total storage. And pulling from any side of any one of those blocks pulls from the whole collection rather than each individual block, which I have been doing up here and having to configure those sides and everything. And if I recall, these can go in and out on the same face, whereas this one is just in or out, and you have to dictate which side is doing what, which I think is part of my problem. I'm not quite sure how that light thing is still going on, but part of the problem is I keep having to figure out which face is working. So if I switch over to these capacitors, I should have a good time. I did decide to go full on into the highest level, the vibrant capacitor banks, because overall it's cheaper to start here than it is to upgrade from the previous versions. And even though this is a significant investment to start off with, it's cheaper in the long run if I don't bother with the lower levels. And it's significantly higher energy storage, 25 million versus the 2 million that I've got in here. So it's a good place to start, but it is a heck of a build. These octatic capacitors are expensive. They require 2 double layers, and then basics, etc. So I've got everything I need for this, I believe, if my math is right. So I've got 16 basic capacitors, and then I need to make doubles out of that, and I need to make 8 of those, and then I need to make 4 octatics, which I did have enough stuff for. Hooray, I can math. Alright, so now that I've got my 4, the other thing that I need is vibrant nuggets in a circle like so, with an emerald in the middle for a vibrant crystal, which is that component right there, and then I've got my electrical steel. Now, to be fair, my electrical steel all came from the loot bags, but it's easy enough to make anyway. It's just iron, coal powder, and silicon. All those are easy enough to get, so I'm just making use of the materials that I already had available. And then I've got my vibrant capacitor bank. Now, this is a single block that stores a lot of energy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down below, And I think I'm going to put it... I don't know. I don't know where I want all of my energy storage to go. But I'm kind of thinking somewhere centralized, just to have it available. So centralized would put it right about here. I'm going to put it in the ceiling, because why not? But I want to make sure that I don't overlap the stairs. So that would put it right about here-ish, or so. Nothing going in here, nothing going out. It has a max in and out of 25,000. With each block that you add, it increases the max in-out. So that's also handy in case you've got massive amounts of power generation, which the book has told me I need to do 1,000,000 RF per tick at some point. So this is going to have to increase significantly for me to even be able to tackle that amount of energy. There are other options in this pack which I will probably make use of at some point or another, but for right now this is about the best one I have access to. Now getting that energy in and out is going to be a bit of a pain, because I kind of have to rewire much of what I've got going on here. So I will do some of that rewiring off camera here, and I will be back. Alright, I have wired up as much as I can right now. You can see the 640 RF per tick going into here. That is the limit of these connectors. So that's going to have to be my limit for a while now. That's only 640 per connection. So if I were to wrap this around to the front, it would connect at double that. That is pulling all of the energy that is coming out of this thing right here, which is then pulling out from the solar panels. So by the time it's done, that thing down there should have 5 million or so, I think. I don't quite know how much I'm currently storing, but it's definitely a lot. I'm going to let this sit for a while, and then I want to move this thing out of there and then rewire slightly. Because at the moment, this sided thing is just driving me nuts. It's hard to get everything the way I want it when these sides are in my way. So I'm going to let that go for a little bit. Now the other thing that I wanted to make, actually there's a few things I want to make, but I'm limited right now by redstone. I have 3. Just 3. That's it. 3 total. So that's going to cause me some problems for the near future, which means I'm going to have to let this thing run, which means I need more power to let it run. So that other thing that I want to make that I can make currently is a potions generator. Potions generator is an achievement. Nice. Potions generator makes energy from potions, and it's dependent on how many brewing steps there are. So if you look at the awkward potion, there's 1 brewing step from the bottle of water into an awkward potion. Or the potion of regen, which is from that awkward potion. So this is the 2nd brewing step. So each brewing step involved increases the amount of power that it can generate total, as well as the RF per tick. And I know that splash potions are pretty high up there because there is that extra brewing step that requires gunpowder. So as of right now, I can't do this, but a future plan is to take all of the potions that are coming from those loot bags and then throw them through this extra brewing step of gunpowder, since I have an excess of gunpowder coming from about 3 different sources. I've got the sifting source here, which you can see I'm backed up on, but then I also have drops from creepers from the mob spawner, plus gunpowder coming from some of those loot bags. So I'm just swimming in gunpowder, just all over the place. So if I do that extra brewing step, that will increase my overall power production with minimal loss to me. So I'm going to make this potions generator, like so. And my 1 lonely redstone hanging out there. How sad is that? So for right now, this is going to have to go directly attached to power cables that I already have, because I have no extra power cables to do anything with. So that's just going to plop right there for now. I might even put the other generators down here too. And then I'm going to feed it potions. Now the potions are going to come ultimately from up here. I don't know for sure if witches are going to drop any in here, but I know that I get some from these loot bags. So you can see I've got these 2 splash potions here, which should provide plenty of energy. And then if you bring them into the interface here, it should tell you how much energy they produce. That's 256,000 RF at 320 RF per tick. That's pretty significant. This one is half that, 128 at 160 RF per tick. My guess is that the Splash Potion of Slowness has an additional brewing step or two that the Night Vision does not. So my power output from this thing is going to be intermittent, because I can never guarantee when I'm going to get another potion, and I can never guarantee how long each potion is going to last or how much energy it's going to give me. So this certainly is not going to be something I'm going to rely upon, but it will be a definite addition to my overall power production. So that will be nice. Apparently it outputs a water bottle, which I'm going to have to deal with, because that's going to cause me some problems of backing up. Interesting. I will have to deal with that. Now the diamond chest here is going to have to go somewhere. Sure, why not right there? And then I'm going to have to feed up items into it. Now, I'll have to configure all this later, because I don't know exactly how I want to configure it, but I do know that I'm going to need this advanced item filter, because each potion has the item value of 373, which means I should be able to match metadata. Now metadata, oops, I already lost that potion. Metadata is the number after the colon. So 373 and then colon 8266. That's what the metadata is. The 8266 is what differentiates this potion of slowness with slowness at 4 minutes compared to this water bottle that has no metadata on it, or this, which is 8225. So that's how I will be able to tell it to just take any old potion and throw it in there. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I will differentiate between splash potions or not, so what I might do is have one section that takes in regular potions and then brews them all up and then throws them in. So that's going to be an interesting little sorting mechanism that I'll have to figure out at some point. But ultimately, those are going to be fed down from that box, and probably that box as well, all the way down here into boxes to feed this thing. Now, I might just move this closer to the action over here, and then filter the energy back into here. But I don't have the cables for that yet, so that's going to have to be another time. But notice that there is no energy whatsoever in here, but it should have all gone into here, where I already have 5.5 million. So that's nice. I like it. So I think that tackles some of my energy issues, at least enough that I can get this stuff running. So I'm going to do that. Otherwise, I will not have enough redstone to do anything else energy related in the foreseeable future. So let me go clean up my animal pen here, like so. I might even do away with this guy, because I don't need him anymore. Done. And I'm going to have to call that a day, because I think that is as much time as I've got available right now. I didn't do much, but it was an important much of getting my energy into a centralized location, and then getting a little bit more energy production going, so that I can get more redstone, because I'm really low on redstone. I have 1. Just the 1. So I'm going to have to let this sit and sift for quite some time before I get enough redstone to do anything else useful. I may come back with another episode here that does not require redstone. I will have to figure out what that is. But until then, see ya!